So yeah, let's talk really quick. I know we got a little bit over time, but let's talk about some other phones that are coming out because we've had some
Okay.
really neat leaks. So, Dan, I'm a big OnePlus fan.
Okay.
And I've owned a couple different OnePluses. My son Brant is using a OnePlus and a OnePlus X, if anybody remembers that way back in the day. So the OnePlus 7 has had all kinds of leaks. And what's been confusing people is they've been seeing leaks of two very different phones. And it turns out, yes, there are two very different phones. And that was actually confirmed today, even though all the leaks made it very obvious. And so there's going to be a OnePlus 7, which will be the traditional flagship killer. So those who are listening, instead of watching on YouTube, I'm doing quotation marks for flagship killer because that's how OnePlus was known. They came and grabbed like the latest chipset and tons of RAM and a pretty decent battery and crammed it into a cheap package and sold the phone for half the price of a flagship phone. Right? Like they were coming in at $300 US when flagships were at 700-800 bucks. Now they're over 1,000. So that was their flagship killer thing. But slowly, as OnePlus's brand has become more and more popular, and their fans are demanding more and more out of them, they've been putting more and more premium features into these phones. And so some would argue they're leaving the budget friendly and moving more into actual flagship territory. So what they've done is they've made two phones. The OnePlus 7 will remain in the mid-range,
That's the
but
one I would get, the cheaper
bang for
one.
buck,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then they have the OnePlus 7 Pro, which looks like it is going to be a flagship. But when you compare it to actual flagships, I'm hoping they're going to keep the price way down because it's still not going to have wireless charging.
Oh,
New flagship phones are doing the two-way, right? It's also not going to be fully waterproof, whereas real new flagship phones, like if you're going to pay over $1,000
you
for,
want it to be waterproof.
you want it to be waterproofed, you want NFC, you want wireless charging. I believe they will have NFC, but no wireless charging, no waterproof. But here's what the Pro will come with. So the OnePlus 7 Pro will be 5G. That was just confirmed today by Carl
Nice.
Pei, who is the president of OnePlus. So it will be 5G, and it sounds like it is coming to the United States. So that's great. And it's going to be one of the first 5G phones you can pick up. Well, good luck if you have a net worth
5G.
that you can use it on. It's also going to have a quotation marks again, super fast screen. So what does that mean? People are assuming that means it's going to be a 90 hertz refresh rate. There are a few phones out there that beat that. Some go up to 120, but those are like the Lenovo Razer gaming phone, and there's another one that came with like a cooling docking station. But 90 is way faster. It's 33% faster than most flagship phones. So that sounds like it's going to be great. They also are going to have a curved display, very similar to what I've got here on my Note 9 Plus. So not Note, Galaxy 9 Plus. So that beautiful curved infinity screen is gorgeous, and I think it's great. Is it worth the extra money? Probably not. So then you can go down to the mid-tier phone, which is it's not going to have the curved screen, and it's going to have a little teardrop for the selfie camera. But apparently on the Pro, it's going to have a pop-up selfie camera.
Cool.
So that's been in the leaks. So full screen, bezel to bezel. You want to take a selfie, a little thing's going to pop up, a little camera's going to take your picture. Both are going to come with the Qualicom 855. Looks like both are going to be close to the 4,000 milliamp battery. I know the Pro's going to have a micro SD capability for expansion. I'm not sure about the regular OnePlus 7, and they're both coming with Android Pie. So it looks great. We'll see what they're going to do. Now, OnePlus's biggest competitor, at least in this cheap space, is Xiaomi. And Xiaomi's got the Pocophone. So do you remember the Pocophone?
No, I don't remember it, but Xiaomi's your vacuum cleaner, right?
Oh yes, and actually I like Xiaomi. I think Xiaomi's a great company. I like OnePlus. I like Huawei. But I do get concerned like when a large government is in charge and calling the shots. So anyways, the Pocophone is huge in India. And so just like OnePlus started out in India and they said, hey, this is the target market we're going for. There are hundreds of millions of people here. Maybe they've even hit 1 billion in India. And everybody's got a phone there, and the phone is so central to their economy. This is the target market that they're going for, and that's how OnePlus got big. Xiaomi did it last year. The Pocophone was the number one phone that was being bought in India, and they $300, Dan. They had the latest 845 chipset, liquid cooled technology, and
Wow.
the reviewer said, no, this thing's legit. It's not like, it literally has liquid cooling capabilities, and it keeps that processor and the RAM and everything cool. And they're saying it's legit. And so, plus a 400 milliamp battery. And that's really what they were focused on with the Pocophone. Let's get it for 300 bucks. Let's give them the latest processor. Let's get them some sweet RAM, and let's give them the 4,000 milliamp battery, and let's liquid cool this sucker in 300 bucks. And everybody went wild for it. And so right now, if you want a mid-range budget phone, which I'm buying a new phone for Brent because his OnePlus X is hardly holding a charge now, and it's like 5 years old.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you want. So the F1, Pocophone F1 is the one that everybody's raving about, and here we are almost a year later, and people still say this is the mid-range phone to beat, especially for price.
Cool.
And it looks like next week they're going to have an announcement on the Pocophone F2. So
Ooh. Well,
I'm looking forward to it.
I like the price of that. That's awesome.